Hello, we have here a beautiful Acer Aspire Nitro laptop, and we're going to replace the M.2 2280 SSD. This is the Aspire VN7-792 series. It is a very nice laptop for a 2016-2017 model. It's got all the current features of a laptop you were to buy today, including the Type-C connection. It's got Blu-ray drive as well. And as you can see here on the side, it's got the Type-C as well, digital audio connection as well. A very nice laptop. It's a big 17.3 inch and it's a high resolution screen. So what we're going to do is, this is the SSD we're going to replace with. It's a 1 terabyte and M.2 2280, and client has for us cloned the 128 gigabyte inside Lighton brand to this already for us, so it's just a matter of installing it and it should boot from it if it was cloned properly. Okay, so we've got the laptop turned off and we're going to start disassembling, and I'm going to most likely separate the LCD panel so we cause less damage or less stress to the hinges. The screen is quite heavy in itself, so you may do it differently, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So it's currently turned off, and so that's Aspire V17 Nitro. Alright, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to turn it upside down. So I've got the screen open, as you can see, and the keyboard and the palm rest are sitting on flat on the table. So let's start. So this is the DVD drive. No screws here. Okay, so start with all the visible screws. So this and that screw, they're a bit longer than the other, so keep them on the side because they hold the hinges in place. It's understandable why they're bigger. Screw missing there. Because this battery is built in, there is actually a pinhole here which you can push with a sharp object, thin object, to disconnect the battery temporarily if your BIOS is frozen or computer is frozen and the buttons are not working. You can reset the power that way. These grills are for heating, cooling, and these grills here are for the speaker. Let's have a look. And the SSD, I believe, in this model is on the bottom of the motherboard, which means we have to do a sort of complete disassembly, which is very annoying. Just check we haven't missed any screws. I'm not sure if there's any screws on the bottom of these pads, but we'll find out later. And looks like there is no more screws visible that needs to be removed. Okay, let's have a look on the other side. Okay, so we're going to use a prying tool, any plastic tool, not to scratch any of the surface. We're looking for a weak spot around, maybe around the DVD will be easier. There we go. Let the tool do the work. Now, I believe this panel here needs to come off, so without forcing any damage, We need to remove this plate here. I believe there may be screws holding that part in place. Let's have a look. We're looking for a weak spot again. Nothing. Let's try between. Yep, there we go. As you can see, I've got a tiny little opening there. Try that again. There we go. There we go. That's nice and easy. So that just pops out. Beautiful. That's good. So we can see this is part of the top palm panel. And there is 1, 2, 3 and 3 screws, I believe. Let's take them out. And they're all same size as the most common small ones. And we can see the antenna wire is running down here. And antenna wires or LCD data cables around here. Okay, so we'll need to be really gentle as only a couple of screws are holding the hinges in place. Okay, so you can see that clearly. Let's continue again trying to remove the top panel. There will be some ribbon cables holding the are still connected to the motherboard. That is the keyboard, the backlight and the touchpad. So we need to be real careful. Here we go. Just lift it up gently on an angle and have a look through. Now the battery is still connected. So if you can, I recommend you disconnect the battery first. Avoid touching any other surfaces. Okay, so I'm going to try and do that first. There we go. Battery is disconnected. Now we can safely remove the touch panel, the keyboard. This has 2 little white tabs on either side, and just push it out. And this has this is the annoying one. This has no bracket, so this uses a bit of force. You need to actually let me double check. Or does it have a lid? Yes, it does. It has a little lever you will lift up. There we go. And let's try and lift it up now. Gently. Nice. Great. No damages so far. So far so good. Put that somewhere safe. Okay. So looking at the LCD connector, it goes there. The CPU heatsink is slightly under the right hinge. Same here on the left. I might actually not disconnect the LCD panel because we got too many wires going too many places. We don't want to make a mess of that. Alright, so we need to flip the motherboard around. So let's see what we can do here. We can see the hard drive connector, speaker, that's the hard drive connector, that's the card reader, couple of screws, the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module. This is for, could be the LCD camera. Yeah, this is the camera from the screen connector. Okay, we'll start with the most visible part. So we're going to disconnect the camera module, ribbon cable. There we go, that's the one. Now this is the Wi-Fi module, which must come out. Uses a silver screw and that's just the MAC address information. Alright. This is for the daughter board, which has one USB port, nothing else. Okay, let's remove the hard drive connector. and the card reader and the front LED lights and one of the speakers. Actually this hooks up to 2 speakers. You have to be real gentle with this, it's quite tight in there. There we go. The plastic is quite brittle because it gets dried over time. Okay, so the LCD cable must come out. Not easy to see the way they've done this one. There we go. So there is a little lever you lift up. Okay, that's disconnected. So we can see there is a they've used these tapes to secure the wiring down. Alright, so we got one, and we may need to, yeah, most likely, yep, lift up the antenna wire so we can gently pull that out later. Okay, alright, so we'll fix that up shortly. And the DC jack is actually connected to the bottom. We might remove that together. Good. Alright, let's have a look how many screws are around here. So we got on the motherboard, let's do all the motherboard ones first. So motherboard has one. You can see the little like a symbol pointing where the screw should go. 2. Anything else around here? Nope. Okay. Just have a look around. And one more here. So we've got 3 so far. Okay. We need to remove this screw here. So the fans are actually going to come out together with the motherboard. Okay, so this part we're assuming it's safe. Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, so now we're done with this side of the board. Now let's have a look at here. Now this fan, the copper tubing probably runs down this way. So we're going to have to carefully loosen the fan here on this side. What else we got here? So all the camera ribbon cables, Wi-Fi cables run this way. So we're going to just lift that up this way. Okay, so we need to loosen this adhesive sticker, which is for cable management. Alright, that's about it. And let's disconnect remove one more screw holding this fan in place. So basically 3 screws hold the motherboard and 2 screws hold the fan. Okay, just to be safe, I'm going to remove this ribbon cable. This goes around just like that. Okay, so we make a lot of room. We've gone already so far. We might as well remove the top LCD panel. Be 100% safe. Then sorry. Here we go. We got one. There is another one at the end. 2. And 3 screws holding the right side. And on this side we've got one at the end. And 2. And a 3. Careful with the hinges, you don't want to break them. They're very brittle. There we go. Perfect. We can just leave it resting here. So this cable just simply runs there. There we go. That's all it is. All done. All removed. Beautiful. So this will make it nice and easy to remove the motherboard. There we go. As you can see, just came out. Very clean, very beautiful. All right. We can see the SSD. Let's put this on the side. So there are the RAM memory modules. They're using DDR4, 8GB, 2400. Okay. Not to put too much pressure. I'm just going to put that there. Yep, there we go. So this is the light on SSD. $128 GB. We're replacing that with the 1TB. I did one of these jobs for another client, a 1TB Crucial brand, and it failed after 5 months. It simply short-circuited and died. Client wasn't happy. Warranty replaced the unit. Okay, so had a few interruptions. So we got to make sure this is in perfectly, because then we have to disassemble the entire unit if we make a mistake here. Okay, just make sure that's in properly, not on an angle. Perfect. Okay, nice. That's most likely the CPU, and that's the GPU. By the color of the chip, could be wrong. Okay. And this is the button actually that disables the battery when you press it. It makes sense, it's around the power supply area. Okay, let's put this back in. I do recommend removing the LCD panel completely. As you can see, it made the job much more easier, but there's a little bit more work involved. But look, it fits in perfectly without any pressure or bend or stress to the motherboard. That's the most important thing. Okay, so now just double check we haven't lost any screws on the bottom or any ribbon cables. Alright, that's looking very nice. And the DC jack, make sure that's positioned good. Yes, okay. So remember we had 3 screws for the motherboard. Let's put them on first. So now putting it back, I'm just going to use a smaller screwdriver. It doesn't need a lot of pressure. As there is no moving parts. Now the fans, 1 screw for each. Good. Right, now we need to put the hinge back on. You have to be real careful with the hinge. Sorry, the screen. And you want to always hold it, give it support. The last thing you want to do is let the bottom part of the laptop to hold the hinges for you. That will cause a lot of pressure. Okay, so that's how it's in. As you can see, it is quite brittle, and you can see a tiny little broken plastic, which is common. From heat, they break over time, they disintegrate, it's very normal. One side in. Maybe do the other side first. Oh yes, so we need to remove. Okay, so you need to lift up the adhesive. Sticky bit. There we go. Yep, there we go. Not too tight. Try and get the screws in first, because they have a little bit of room for movement. Okay, so we put some screws in, put that in focus. You do want to apply a little bit of force here, but not much. It's a massive 17.3-inch screen. Alright, so that's all done. Now, let's sort these cables out. Take your time. No rush. Has to be nice and straight. Click and down. Now you run these wires under. Nice. Okay. And screw for the Wi-Fi module. Push that in, make sure that's in properly. It's bent down. Okay, So there is a rail here which this cable sits nicely in. Okay, let's take our time. Okay, nice. Nice, okay. Now the LCD data cable. Secure, secure, bent down. Okay, that's nice there. Okay, on an angle. On an angle. Good. That's what we want. Beautiful. Now that's the MAC address, which is just a label. Put a Kapton tape there. Okay, so no screw hole is covered, that's important. Beautiful. That's much better, okay. Now, the hard drive, the trackpad, sorry, the card reader and the LED, front LED lights, speaker, good. A battery will do last. So this ribbon cable, one end says the USB, the other says motherboard. It can't go wrong. Cool. This is looking good. We could do a test before turning it all on, and we will do a test. So what I'm going to do is I am going to connect the battery. It may power up, but I did see a CMOS battery in this, so it should not power on. If it did not have a CMOS battery, it wouldn't have a normal proper BIOS, but this one does have a proper BIOS, which is good. Now, let's connect some of the other components. So lift up again. If you're worried you might touch other components, then disconnect the battery, but I'm going to be fine. This can be a bit tricky, you have to be real careful. It's a bit of it on an angle, not good. Do that again. Make sure it's straight in, and then lock. Good. That's the backlight. And let's do the keyboard. Left hand. Good. Keyboard in. Now trackpad. Should be the easiest. Okay, let's do a demo. Power button. Pressing the power button did nothing. Indicates I have not connected the battery and the keyboard properly, because we know our battery has power. Let's double check that we got the battery in, the keyboard connector in properly. That looks good. Oops, try that again. Okay, power. We're not getting any power. Double check the battery connection. Battery is in. Oh, I know why. Because I've pressed the reset pinhole power button on the other side. So the only way to get it up and running now is to plug into power, and then it will start up as usual, on and off from the battery. Okay, so if you're like me, you press the power reset button on the other side. You do need to power it on with the power adapter initially. Power on. You can see the backlight coming on, red light, screen is on, and there we go. Here is one problem. Default boot device missing or boot failed. So let's see if it found the SSD, and we can see it has found the SSD. I'll adjust the camera. Okay, so what does this mean? It cannot boot from the SSD that it was cloned onto. It actually can, but the BIOS was still looking for the light on SSD, which is not there anymore. So this is good news. Let's test all the functions. And then we can put it all back together. So on the keyboard, ensure everything is working. All the alphabets are working, backlight is working, trackpad, right click, left click are working, and ensure the camera is detected and Wi-Fi is picking up all the signals, both 5G and 2.4. Yep, this is looking good. Anything else I can test? Yes, I'm going to remove the charger, see if it stays on. No, it doesn't. So this tells me my battery, most likely I have not connected it properly. So that's a good sign. It's good we test that out. So I'm going to push the battery connector in again, firmly. Maybe one of the pins has not made proper contact. Try that again, power button. So the battery is not working. I've removed the battery. I'm going to reconnect it back to the motherboard. Okay, I've reconnected it again. Let's try powering it on. And we're not getting any power. So, is their battery dead? We don't know. There's no, you can't put it in the wrong way because it can only go in one way. Okay, let's plug in the power again. And there is no power light with the charger connected. Now I'm going to connect the battery in. And it says battery is full. As we can see, the battery indicator coming on. There we go, you can see it on there. Press the power button. I'm going to disconnect the charger, it turns off. Try powering it on. Nope. So what does this tell us? We may need to do a battery reset. I'm going to put something in the tiny port at the back on the bottom and try powering it on again. Okay, so put the charger in, battery light is on. I'll put something in the pinhole where the battery connector is. Okay, power button again. It is saying the battery, it is showing full. So if I disconnect the power adapter, it's going to immediately shut down, which is not good. So now it's fully off. I'm going to remove the charging cable and try powering it on. No. No power. That's interesting. Let's double check. Double check the battery, which we haven't touched. Maybe one of the wires have come loose. Okay, that's in properly. Try one more time. Simply does not want to power on from the battery port. Battery only connected. It is not powering on. What could this mean? Unless there's another power button. Nope. Alright, I'm going to remove the battery. There's one screw holding the battery. So this is the battery inside. Let's double check that there is voltage. We're in DC mode. Okay, I can suspect the problem. Could be that these wires have come out too far. Let's try that again. They seem to be good and solid. They're not loose. Nope. but I don't seem to be reading any voltage information. Let's plug the battery back in, see if there is any voltage being read around the motherboard. Let's try the power button one more time. Okay, let's troubleshoot this. Make sure there is power going into the laptop. Let's check some of the MOSFETs. They're most likely on the other side. See, how about these guys? Nothing. Nothing. How about here? Nothing. Literally nothing on the system. There may be no power at all. Nope. Alright, nothing. So, this tells me there is no power going into the motherboard. Probably the battery is not giving any power. No, they seem very secure. It's just no power coming out of the battery. Interesting. Literally it's dead, not communicating at all. Check one more time. Just check continuity of the negative ground. So they are connected. The connection is not the issue. How about here? Yeah. So the pins are connected fine. Okay, let's check the voltage again. No, it doesn't want to communicate at all. Simply it's given up. It didn't like being touched. No, definitely doesn't want to be touched. So we plug in the power one more time. Power light comes on because it detects the battery. Battery is connected. It's full, it's saying. Let's unplug it. It's off. Battery is not plugged in. Plug it back in. Power on. Disconnect. It turns off because there's no power coming from the battery. First two pins shorted. Boots the system up. Anlamıyorum. Ne power line?
Power line, I want to put on the internet?
No, power line adapter, no.
No, adapter.
No. Office work.
Office work.
Yeah. Okay, this is so interesting. I think the issue may be related to earthing. So, watch. This problem will magically fix itself. So I'm going to reconnect everything as before. So the keyboard backlight first. Done. Now the keyboard. First time I see this strange problem. Okay, keyboard all good. Alright, all three other cables connected beautifully. Okay. So make sure that's all tight. Power button. See how it turns on? So there is some kind of a the force around here, especially around here, closes a circuit of some sort. Very interesting design. So it won't let power in, knowing that it's sort of like it knows you've opened the case. It won't let power through. Okay. Now guess what? It's going to turn off now if I start removing it again. Ready? Here we go. Hey buddy. I do get a lot of interruptions here, so we're back. And now, as I was saying, this is an interesting problem. Now, I'll put the battery back in. I haven't put the screw in yet. Now watch what's going to happen. It's probably going to turn off while... There we go. See that? It just turned off. Definitely somewhere around the pressure helps it close the circuit. Hence why... This is actually a good design. You know why? Less chance of you making a mess, like if you touch critical components accidentally. You might damage a component because it's live and you're putting your fingers here and there. That's nice. Haven't seen this feature in a while. Alright, so I'm reconnecting back the wires. I'll put it back together and do one more test. Now watch. It's not going to turn on. Now I press down, especially this side. And it's oops, I need to apply more power, more pressure. There we go. Look at that, it's turning on. Very cool. Now let's test the functions one more time, all the components, before we put all the screws back in and call this job complete. It's been really fun working on this. Yep, keyboard works, mouse works, backlight works. They are the only three cables that we had removed. Sweet. Shut down. Now we may put everything back together. Well, look, hopefully you learned something from this video too. And you can do your own upgrades. Certainly I learned something new. Okay, ribbon the antenna wires are all nice. Nitro. Make sure that's nice and flush. Beautiful. you may go ahead and put all the remaining screws. Don't forget the top two screws, the ones for the hinges, are slightly longer. This one had one missing screw. We'll find a replacement for it. So if this screw goes there, we're missing one more. We'll find a similar screw. Yep, I might actually have one. Beautiful. This job is now officially complete. Power on. And plug in the charger. We should see it charging. And it's charging. Beautiful. Look, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you learned something, as I have done. And hopefully we'll work on more projects later on. Thank you.